It's Friday.
My sound is all screwed up. Output. There we go. Input row ones. Okay, where were we? This is Lawrence Lewis.
And this is Sister Christian.
Today is Friday, May 29th, 2020. This is the Producer's Happy Hour, a semi-daily podcast with two producers on opposite coasts, reaching out to our filmmaking and live event community to hear your stories about how the pandemic has affected you, your life, and your work.
Your stories let us know that we're not alone. It's important for us to keep sharing our experiences and ideas, especially because, we're starting to begin to get back to work.
It's starting to happen. So email us your stories, or better yet, record a 1 to 2 minute voice memo and send it to producershappyhour@gmail.com. Just follow the instructions on our website, producershappyhour.com.
And please share this show with your friends, family, colleagues. We want these stories to be heard. We're all starting back to work a little bit at a time, so we think everybody can relate.
Yes. Christian, it's been a couple of days.
It is Friday for sure, and I think it's a well-earned Friday.
It's a well-earned Friday, but there's still so much unrest going on across the country.
I agree.
Last night was intense in a lot of places. We don't need to get into it, but just wanted to acknowledge that it's happening, and it's. I'm flabbergasted. I think this morning, because on top of all of that injustice, and on top of all of that unrest, then to see, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing this to how bad the injustice was, but a CNN reporting team was arrested by state police on live TV. No scuffle, no anything, no answers. They just got approached. They said, "Oh, are we in the wrong spot? We'll move. Let us know where you want us to be." And they arrested them and pulled them away on live television.
Yes. And that reporter's name was Omar, and I can't place his last name, but I do know he started at CNN 8 years ago as an intern and has worked his way up to the position he is now. And I do know that they had a white reporter who was about 50 yards away who was not arrested for the same thing.
See, I didn't even know that aspect of it. So now that makes it even worse. But when just the pure fact alone of state police arresting journalists who were not committing a crime or doing anything correct and completely complying, it's freaking terrifying.
Well, yeah, because the president of CNN, again, name is escaping me, called the governor immediately and was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I know that the crew was released within an hour. I'm not sure if you saw Omar's description of how his mom and his grandmother felt when they saw it happen.
No.
His mom, because in this country, every time a black man leaves their house, there's a very big chance that they may not come home. Every time.
Yeah.
And so to see that, his family, to see that on television, him getting, handcuffed and carted away was very traumatic for his family over nothing. The one benefit in all of this is how everything was filmed and recorded.
Yeah.
So for the people out there who say things like, oh, well, there are two sides to every story, or, he must have been doing something. It's not true.
It's so not true. It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. We're watching it live.
He's literally saying, "Oh, sorry guys, am I in the wrong spot? Where do you want me? We were just leaving. I'm just finishing up.
Here are my credentials.
Here are my credentials. Where do you want us to be?" As they stood there silently and waited for some decision to happen, and then they turned around and nope, you're under arrest.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no scuffle. There was no confrontation. There was no answers. Anyways, Jeffrey Zucker is president of CNN, FYI. A little fact checking for you. Since,
live fact checking. That's so novel.
Fact checking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I firmly believe that if we are not speaking out against this, then we are complicit in the behavior.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, that's not what this show's about. So we'll try and stick to film production. But I think we had to make a mention of what else is happening in the world today.
Even though we are not journalists, it's still a television broadcast based industry.
Yes.
The camera crew and the producer were also arrested too.
Yeah.
So it does apply in the sense that we could be right there.
Yeah.
it could happen to us as well.
Yes.
So, Lawrence, I got a call for a job. I will remain quite secretive,
Well, protective.
ambiguous. Okay. I'll
Protective.
remain a little bit.
As we always need to be on this show, we're not here to air brands and ad agency junk.
That said,
Did that come out right?
I did get, yes, it did. I received a call about a job that would happen in New Jersey. And it's exactly the scenario that we've put out to people, where 50 full on crew size. And spread out over days. It looked like half of it was done correctly, but I advised on the half that I felt was still a thing in the Northeast, because I feel like the job could probably happen in a different part of the country. Not that I'm want work to go away from my area, but I think where I'm at in New Jersey still has 10 people or less in indoor gatherings. They've only
Right.
just opened 25 people or less outdoor gatherings.
Yeah.
And that would be a stage. I mean, there's talk of location, and that just it kind of exploded a little. There were 3 principals, 6 extras. To me, that just feels like a pot of germs.
Yeah.
And it gave me anxiety thinking about it.
Yeah.
I still advised on it and I still worked up on it. I'm just not sure that I, am in a mental space where I can handle it or think of everything. Because yet again, I think there's going to be a lot of test shoots. People
Yeah.
out there doing stuff, learning things. Hopefully we can find out from them. I would love to talk to somebody who has filmed. So if you have been on a set and you were filming in a certain state, let us know. We'd love to talk about it, see what
Yeah.
precautions were taken, how you felt, if the client was there or not, or was it just a Zoom situation where, they're just telling you what to do.
Right. We do need to hear that, and I'm sure there are people out there that have
Yeah.
already shot something under these conditions. So if you're out there,
Yeah. And not the remote jobs.
touch
I want to
with us.
hear,
No, the
I want to hear
real
about people who have
in-person.
been on a set. Yeah.
and we're still waiting for, what's your governor saying? We're still waiting in California for the rollout of their guidelines for film production. Apparently it's coming out Monday, June 1st. Have you heard anything from
Cuomo about it?
Cuomo?
No, I mean, the last couple of days I've been not really paying attention to those
Yeah, me
things.
too.
I've been paying attention to what's going on in Minnesota, in Louisville, and,
Yes.
I guess I could just name every state.
Yeah.
So I haven't been paying attention because I do know that New Jersey is supposed to open before New York. So I have done a bit of research on New Jersey.
Okay.
I don't know. I would be very concerned to be in a stage with 50 people,
Yeah.
many of whom I don't know. I don't know how they could have been sick. They could have a sick family member at that time. There was nothing in for testing, which I don't know is a thing yet,
Yeah.
whether it matters or not, or
I think
permission.
in the white paper it was suggested.
Right.
In the versions of the white paper we've seen, we know it's
Yeah.
not final.
Mm-hmm.
But where are those tests? Where are those rapid 15-minute tests? Are
How
they
do I
out
get
there?
my
Do they
hands on 'em?
exist? How do we get them? Who
Mhm.
administers them? There's still so many questions.
And then if you do have a 5-day time period that your job goes through, how many times are you testing people daily? And are you letting them use mass transit to get to work? There are many things that's kind of what the Northeast is. And if you have New Jersey, then we provide 15 passenger vans to shuttle people.
Yeah.
Well, how many people are safe to have inside that closed environment?
Yeah.
Do you call crew members with just cars? Like, I know. So these are my
The trickling down of all the details.
and the questions that I have for the company. And did they think of this yet? And if not, then what do they suggest? Because I'm thinking about it and I don't know.
Yeah. And
don't.
we're not the doctors. We're not the
Right.
virologists.
How
right?
do I get all these people to New Jersey? And then do I pay them to stay in a hotel over there? I just don't know. You can't hire just crew who live in New Jersey, everyone, just so
No.
you know.
Well, I want to skip ahead then because this is very applicable. Linda DeZorzi
Oh, Linda.
she sent us an email talking about all these kind of things that we've been talking about. And a big thing, and it's so poignant right now that she's saying, is that we really have to bring the humanity back into what we do for a living, right? And it echoes all the things we've been talking about. We really need to pay attention to each other, care for each other, and go about work in a different way.
Yes.
especially now more than ever, when you look at what's on the news over the past 2 days, humanity. We got to bring back a little bit of humanity. She basically is agreeing with a lot of things that she's saying, and to the point of production companies and producers and ad agencies really developing more of a partnership to figure out how to get through these times and to continue doing the work that we do. It is more important than ever. I just don't know who's really going to lead the charge. And hopefully those conversations are going to happen, and hopefully there is enough attention to the humanity of what we do as we start to, jockey into position to pull out the cameras and start rolling on big ads. I don't know.
I do like that she had, tough love from production companies about reality of creative.
Yes.
Because I know we've been thinking about that quite a bit. I was on a call last night with some crew members here in New York, and Miss Tara Dolak was with me. And one of the things that was mentioned that we had definitely not thought of was the mask fatigue.
Yes.
And so what the crew members were saying was, one of them was a runner and runs with a mask on, and that was no problem at all. But
really?
Working, that part was like, 2 to 5 miles, sure.
Oh, okay.
But the lifting and the carrying and the running around and the stress and all of that happens on a shoot caused a tremendous amount of fatigue. So if you think to yourself, the normal way you breathe, cut that off by, let's just say, round number of 30%, even though I feel it's a little bit more than that, 30%. So then working at 70% of your oxygen intake on a film set.
Not good.
So you're fatigued, and then wanting to do more than a 12-hour day, I think we should be back at 10-hour days, because for whatever variety of reasons, it's going to take you longer to get to work because there's no mass transit. There's a lot going on.
We're getting into summer. The days are getting hotter. We're going to be mostly regulated to be shooting outside in the sun.
Yeah. And so if those expectations aren't managed from the beginning, then you're going to have a very upset client pushing why. And then if you don't have a strong producer, a strong agency, or a strong production company, you are going to succumb to the pressure of trying to accomplish too much in one day, which only puts your own company at liability because you've not delivered the contract.
Yeah. Okay, well.
It's just a little dose of reality that I think is...
That is a big dose of reality.
I just don't think people are thinking about it. And I do think that, again, the test jobs will be very interesting to see. And I never want to sell anybody short.
No, exactly. That's the thing. This might sound like a big ball of negativity from two producers. But no, we take so much pride in what we deliver. And we don't want to sell anyone short. We don't want to get into a situation where we cannot deliver what we promised to deliver by just saying, yes, I'll take that job. That's what you're saying.
Yes, we are. Not only are we advocates for the production company, we're also advocates for the crew.
We're advocates for the crew, and we're advocates for the creative.
Exactly. And it can all balance.
Right. And if they don't balance, then it's challenging.
Then somebody's going to suffer.
Somebody's going to suffer.
Or all of it's going to suffer.
Yeah, exactly. It's all interrelated. Linda is saying that she's already been seeing or hearing about bids that are out there for non-union work in the price ranges of $5,000 to $30,000.
You can't. Yeah.
Great. So they're following the model. They're following the model of influencer shoots, which we talked about probably 3 weeks ago.
I think it's closer to 7 weeks ago.
You're
at this
right.
point.
You're right. I know. I keep saying 3
everything's
weeks.
3 weeks.
I know.
No, in
Probably
my mind too.
7 weeks ago. Remember, there was an article. Actually, I think we cut it from the show because we didn't feel like it was worthy of talking about. But here we are.
Here we are.
Talking about big brands following more of an influencer style content creation method, which $5,000 to $30,000, yeah, you're golden.
But who's making money on that?
Well, the influencer. That's all they need, right? It's not what we do. That's a different model. But she also lists out 7 things that she would like to see happen. And I think they line up with the things that we've been talking about. Shorter work hours from prep to shoot to wrap. We just discussed that. We've all gotten used to telecommuting. We need to do more of that during prep and wrap to minimize exposure.
Agree.
Again, you pointed out the tough love from production companies about the realities of the creative that can be accomplished. Fully digital paperwork, inclusive of NDAs, all-time card paperwork from production to wrap. It's all kind of out there, but I think we've been slow in adopting it.
Right.
I know Media Services, I use them for my production company. They have a whole digital onboarding
Yes.
process now called TIM, which is great. And then,
I
of course,
love
online time cards, safer sets, all the PPE, better planned shoots to minimize hazards, online castings, which have already become a thing for features and television. Most of the first call castings are from home, self-tapes. We should be doing that as well. And agencies, of course, working with you on cultivating all of the above. So thank you, Linda, for writing in and sharing your thoughts with us. The other thing that I want to talk about, this is a short show today because it's Friday and we deserve it. Monday, we've got Mercedes Allen Soria, who is head of production at Hilo.
And then on Tuesday, we'll have Jason Mans, who is a New York-based first AD for the DGA and producer. He also works in LA a ton, so
Great.
bi-coastal, really.
Yeah. But before we go, I want to talk about this article in the New York Times about the drop in ad buys and the cancellation of a lot of ad buys that are coming up.
Yes.
A lot of that was due to the summer games being postponed, but basically advertising revenue for television is down by about 12% this year. The networks are going to lose out on $25.5 billion in spending.
Interesting.
And, you know, it's not a secret that TV ad budgets have been slashed by more than what they're saying, 40% over the last 10 years because of this shift to digital, right? So before the pandemic, 30% of ad spending in the United States went towards TV commercials and 58% went to the YouTubes and all the other digital platforms. And that was already a massive sea change that was happening in the industry. And now this happened. And I think everything is going to get reevaluated. So
Well, that's interesting because, you know, there's a couple of things I think when it comes to that. One is that for years it's been said that, oh, it's for internet. It should be cheaper. Hopefully we're past that.
No, yeah, I think so.
I don't think anybody really says that anymore.
No.
But if they do, you can punch them. Tell them, Sister Christian, punch. And then I'm surprised because now a lot of these networks have online streaming platforms which have ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand the ad buy percentage shifting, but the amount of ads that are generated are more than ever.
Yes.
When it comes to ABC Disney or Disney Universal, I can't imagine ABC hurting from it, but am I wrong here?
No, I don't think so. I think if you do look at what the ads are that are being made, especially, you know, there was an article long before the podcast about a brand in the cosmetics industry saying that, you know, they used to make 4 commercials a year, or maybe it was even 2 commercials a year. And that's their entire commercial budget, media budget went to that. Now they make 50 pieces of content a month. Yeah.
Oh,
just think about all the little
that makes
YouTube
sense.
clips, right?
Yeah. Because on our shoots, a one-day shoot now has 15 deliverables.
Yeah, exactly. So that same budget has to stretch.
Protecting for all these.
Protecting for all the different aspect ratios. But 1 year's budget of media has to accommodate all that.
Now,
so that is,
now it makes sense.
It all makes sense, right? But if you look at the things that like Lowe's, what Lowe's is doing from compared to last year, they have all these, you know, shots of the store and people shopping and all this interaction. They came out with a commercial where it's just a shot of a hand and a phone and someone buying something on a phone. So, you know, actors lose work, wardrobe loses work, makeup, hair, the size of the crew is minuscule. So yes, there's still a lot of content to make. If we talk again about Linda's email, the budgets are $5 to $30,000. That's not our industry.
Yeah.
So
it makes complete sense.
There could be a shift. There could be a change.
Right. Especially because we've both done an Estee Lauder or something type commercial back in the day where it was, you know, 700,000 for one shoot day.
Totally.
And then you take that 700,000 and you spread it out over 50 commercials a month.
Yeah. Well, pieces of content, but still. Pieces.
Right. You know, 6-second lead-ins and, you know, whatever they are.
Yeah. I'm going to post this article into the Facebook group, and I'm going to try and make a promise to use our Facebook group a little more to post these articles that we talk about. Go to Facebook, Producers Happy Hour. There's also a LinkedIn group, too. I'm going to post these articles in there so you guys can see what we're talking about and weigh in on them.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
What else, Christian?
Should we take some action?
We should take some action.
So, you know, Monday is the first rent. If you haven't worked, the first is going to be hard for you. So please, there are organizations out there, there are petitions, action that you can take. So read up on it. We could also donate some blood, save the post office, feed the freelancers. Even though we are talking about opening up soon, it doesn't mean that everybody's back to work or earning anything at all. We're still all just talking about it. Mostly.
We're all just talking about it. And if you're fortunate enough to have a job, there's probably 10 of you in your same job classification that aren't working at the very least. So check it out. It's on our website, producershappyhour.com. The page is Take Action. There's a lot of resources there. And if you have the means to help and to give, please do.
Please do. Well, Lawrence, this show is edited and co-produced by Rob Blumke.
Artwork and logo design by Christopher Daniels.
And our music was composed by Kyle Puccia.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. It's the weekend, so we'll see you on Monday with Mercedes Allen Soria. And until then, stay safe, stay connected, stay active. If you can, please keep staying home.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Clean your phone because it's disgusting. And if you do go out, wear a mask. It is important you will be protecting others, not just yourself.
Be sure to send us your voice recordings or emails to producershappyhour@gmail.com.
And Lawrence, all those people beating down the door to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
LawrenceTLewis.com, or for voiceover work, voiceoflawrence.com. Christian, what about you?
SisterChristianProduces.com. See you Monday.
Bye.